Back in my career as a computer engineer, I managed an engineering team, and I was in Chicago attending a conference, and I had a meeting with Westinghouse early the next morning. So Chicago to Pittsburgh, you've got a 1 hour time change. I was anxious to get done with my commitments in Chicago and get on my plane and get to Pittsburgh. My company had a new CEO that was scheduled to come to the conference to speak and then to meet the team in the Chicago office. And I didn't really care about meeting this guy. And yet, as I was preparing to leave, the office secretary said, "Jack, you really should stay and meet Bob before you get on the plane and head to Pittsburgh." And I was like, "No, I can't do that. I'm on a tight timeline." So I go to say goodbye to the sales team, and the lead salesperson goes, "You really should stay and meet the new CEO." And I'm like, "No, not gonna do it." So I go to my engineering team and I'm saying my goodbyes to them, and my lead engineer goes, "You really should stay." And I'm like, "No, it's gonna wreck my schedule." And he said, "Yeah, but it's really important." So 5 different people said almost exactly the same thing to me. I'm slow, but I kind of started getting the idea, maybe this is important. Now, what I didn't realize at the time was God was speaking to me through these people. I borrowed a cell phone. Now, this was back in the early 90s, and I carried a bag phone. I didn't have one of the fancy little cell phones yet. And so I didn't have that with me, but I borrowed the lead salesperson's cell phone and used that to call and change my flights, and left a message for Pat saying that I was changing my schedule and that I was going to stay and meet the CEO. To make a long story even longer, the flight that I was scheduled to be on crashed, and everyone on that plane perished. But God used 5 different people to speak to me. And it is important that you be sensitive not only to what God is saying to you about yourself, but what God is saying to you about others. Because when God is reaching out, most of the times, He's reaching out through us.